Hello and welcome to Center Stage, where the lights are shining brightly on the administrators and district leaders of the Sioux Falls School District. We thank you for joining us today. Josh Hall is our guest, and we're going to learn all about Josh Hall in the next 30 minutes or so. Some very exciting things happening in the career and technical education arena, as well as workforce development. So we'll get to those things in just a minute, but before we get started, we'll have you do I'll throw you the softball question first.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we just break in a little bit here. But tell us about Josh Hall, how long you've been with the Sioux Falls School District, kind of your path in becoming the principal here at the Career and Technical Education Academy.
Sure. Well, I started out as a career and technical education teacher at Patrick Henry Middle School in the Sioux Falls School District. And from there, took the jump into administration, went over to Axtell Park. It was a middle school at the time that also housed the Middle School Immersion Center. And so I played a dual role there as assistant principal of Axtell Park Middle School and the principal of the Middle School Immersion Center, serving students who are new to our country. And a really great experience. I learned a lot about families that were, like I said, new to our country and some of the things that go with that challenge.
Right.
From there, I went over to Whittier Middle School and became the head principal at Whittier. Again, another great experience, another great group of kids and families to work with. And then I was presented with the next big challenge in moving to the central office as assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction. And I enjoyed that position a lot and got to work with some great people, such as yourself.
Oh, well, thank you. Boy, I paid him a few dollars to say that. No,
And, there was just, I missed being around kids. I did. And so the opportunity came up to go back to a building, and what a great opportunity to get back to the world of career and technical education where I once taught. Put that together with my passion for administration, getting to work with kids on a daily basis and teachers. And it's just been a great fit ever since.
Awesome. Well, very good. There are certainly a lot of wheels turning in this area of career and technical education. How is it different from maybe what interested you as a student in your own youth? How did you get interested in career and technical education, and how did that lead you into becoming a teacher?
Well, when I think about growing up and how I learned best as a student, it was about hands-on learning by doing. I mean, that was most impactful for me in my educational experience. And so when I started thinking about college, it was, how can I put that into action and make that part of the rest of my life? And I looked at engineering fields, and ultimately decided that I wanted to work with kids. And I just had a passion for working with youth. And so then it became, what can I do to put those two things together? And went out to Black Hills State University and got enrolled in an education program in career and technical education. And from there, started teaching in the Rapid City School District, went over to Brandon for a while, and then eventually into the Sioux Falls School District. Obviously gaining experiences all along the way, but like I said, I get to see kids learn by doing, just like how I used to love to learn, and so that's fun for me, and to have an impact that will take them through the rest of their life.
Right. So I'm guessing that the education you received and the opportunities you had in career and tech ed as a student have advanced quite a bit since then.
Oh yes, there's been a number of changes, and just when I look at this building and the changes that take place here, whether it be equipment or the training involved in preparing students for what's next beyond high school and careers and fields related to the coursework that we offer here, it's constantly staying on top of those updates. And we do a great job, our staff here, staying involved with industry, staying involved with higher ed. We have advisory committees that meet at least twice a year to just talk through those very things. How are things changing? What do we need to do to make sure that our kids are prepared after they leave our building and go out into the real world, so to speak, and head down the road of a career or to higher ed, whether that be 2-year or 4-year. We just want to make sure we're doing everything that aligns with what's out there currently in industry. And certainly those changes are never ending.
Always something
Yeah.
new to incorporate, whether that be new technology, new equipment, all of those new practices and things like that. And Sioux Falls is a vibrant place to have a school like this, where our community is so committed to making sure we have a pipeline of good quality workers for the future. And there's really been a relationship established between businesses and industry and the schools, and really both benefiting and seeing that it's important to work together.
That's correct. This is our 8th year in operation out at the Career and Technical Education Academy. And, to put together a facility like this, a vision like this, getting districts outside of Sioux Falls involved in sending students over here to the Career and Technical Education Academy. It took a dedicated superintendent, a very committed board, a community who was all in and ready to step up financially and otherwise to support this. It really does. It takes everybody to be involved and supportive, and our community has done that, and they continue to do that. And that's one of the things that impresses me so much about the Sioux Falls community.
Yeah. So there are really awesome things going on here at the CTE Academy. We have automotive, we have construction, we have engineering, we have health sciences, culinary arts, media. I know I'm missing some. What am I missing?
Engineering,
Engineering.
The Academy of Finance.
Oh, yes.
We have a strong welding program.
Yeah.
Carpentry, I'm not sure if you mentioned carpentry. We have a couple great community partnerships in carpentry with Habitat for Humanity and the Sioux Falls Housing Foundation, where our students also get to turn that into a community support project where they help out a family in need with a new home in our community, which is just another neat part of learning at the Career and Technical Education Academy. So we have 12 different programs in all.
Wow.
And we're increasing every year those programs that are connected to dual and concurrent credit, so we can give those students a head start on whatever their future holds as far as 2-year or 4-year programming. Or sometimes it's certificates and just extended training in different areas. But we want to help them take them to that next level. And whether that means more training or connecting them with an employer while they're in high school, whatever we can do to make them more employable and give them a better idea of where they can head with their life down the career road.
Right. I know we hear collectively as a society, we talk about, kids going to college and having almost a lifetime of debt, and maybe they came out of college still not sure that was really what they were meant to do or wanted to do. And so these hands-on opportunities while they're in high school give them a jump start on really knowing, is this something I'm going to like to do for my career for the next 30 years, 40 years, whatever. So it really plays a pretty pivotal role in helping a student decide what they want to do, because it's an opportunity for them to try it, and if they like it, move forward. If not, try something else.
Boy, you're spot on with that, Deanne, you really are. And one of the initiatives that we're getting rolling this year as well is growing and expanding our internship program. And along with that, job shadows, pre-apprenticeships, and really it's people in peer, it's the governor's office, the Department of Labor, the Department of Education, our local businesses and the chamber and the development foundations, along with a great deal of support from our superintendent and our board. It's really about creating another pathway for our students and, again, giving them more information so they're making more informed decisions about what to do after high school, so they're not building up a bunch of student loan debt that they don't need to build up. They know what they want to do, and they know what their passions are and how those connect to careers and or a 2-year degree or a 2-year program, 4-year degree. Or, like I said, other training and certificates.
So what are you looking for? I know it'll be a constant flow of need in terms of connecting kids with businesses that have internship opportunities available, what's expected of the business if they're going to have an intern or an apprentice or what have you? What are you telling businesses, and how, if they're interested, how can they step up to help?
Well, we're reaching out to them and they're reaching out to us. We have great workforce needs in our area. I mean, we have some great employers and we have a need for employees. You know, we have students who have incredible talents. And so really it comes down to just making that match. And so when we talk to an employer about hosting an intern or being open to a student coming out for a job shadow, you know, a job shadow is really more of that maybe a 2-3 hour experience of kind of looking over the shoulder of someone at that workplace and just seeing what it's all about. The internship, you know, we're looking at 8 to 14 weeks where they are jumping in and getting their hands dirty, so to speak.
Sure.
They are doing that work, they are doing that job right alongside the other employees for that organization. They're truly getting to know what it means to be in that career, be in that field. And so that's kind of that difference. And I tell you what, the employers in our area have sure been stepping up. I mean, they are. They have talked about that need, and now this program is up and going and growing, and they're coming to the plate and they're opening their doors for our students, and that's sure appreciated. I know our students appreciate it, our families, and you know, everyone at the school district level as well. It's the right thing to do for kids. It really is.
So let's talk about that program specifically, and I know it's a relatively new program that the governor has dedicated some, is it career coaches or that are going to be working with students? And then in the same vein, and maybe you can lead into this, the grant that was received by Southeast Tech and the Sioux Falls School District from City to help us do this and have those people that can help us with those matches.
Yes. So as I mentioned earlier, the governor's office, this is one of the governor's big initiatives as well. And through the Department of Labor, he has created 12 new positions in the state of South Dakota in 4 different communities. And Sioux Falls will get 4 or 5 of those positions. They're called career advisors.
Okay.
And through the City Foundation grant, as you had mentioned, a partnership between Southeast Technical Institute and the Sioux Falls School District, we were able to add, we call it a career coach. It will be very similar in nature as far as what they're going to do with our students and how they're going to serve our students. We were also able to add an internship coordinator. And so a couple extra people who really can spend a great deal of time focusing on creating those pathways for kids and creating those connections. It takes time to just sit down with businesses and explain to them what this means, what it is and what it isn't, and what are your responsibilities and the expectations, and what do you have to gain from it, along with what does the student have to gain from this, and just really having open conversations, and then taking the time to set all of that up and coordinate it. So, I mean, that's a great thing, and those positions from the Department of Labor will start here shortly. Our career coach, we're hoping to get going here next week, actually.
Wow. Yeah.
So very quickly, we did interviews just 2 days ago and had some great candidates. That was actually a fun day of interviewing.
Wonderful.
So, again, that's more resources that are going to help create this pathway for students. And it really is, it's about support all the way from peer, and in many departments in peer, all the way down to the local level in businesses and our school board and superintendent and all those at the central office.
Super exciting time for students to be able to say, hey, this is something that, maybe 5 years ago a student didn't have the opportunity to get as deep into an industry or a business to really see what was going on. I know we've had previous job shadow programs and things like that, and but our needs in the community are different than they were 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and so it's really, like you said, making that match between interests by students and businesses who have that need. Yeah, super great.
Yeah, it's an exciting time. It really is. There's a lot going on, and a lot of good things for kids happening. And that's what I'm most excited about. And helping kids find their way,
right.
And giving them opportunities to make more informed decisions about their future.
Right. So who who are or what are the industries that you really need support from? Maybe you don't have to name businesses necessarily, but we're on track with this type of industry. We still need support from this type of industry.
Sure. Well, one of the areas that we have great interest from our students in is healthcare. And that's a variety of fields within that umbrella. Obviously,
right.
that's a very big umbrella.
It is.
And we have a number of students who are interested in going down that road. And so those opportunities can be challenging when we're talking about patient care. Yes. And healthcare facilities opening their doors to high school students. That makes them a little nervous, honestly. It does, and I don't blame them for that. But really getting them comfortable with our program and them knowing about the high expectations that we set for our students, and that we talk to our students about the importance of things like privacy and the laws that are related to to privacy and part of that experience. And so it's just making them feel comfortable. They know they have those needs for future employees. Like I said, we have students who have a passion for that. And so it's about making that connection and helping students figure out exactly what area under that healthcare umbrella is the right fit for them.
Right.
I also think about the manufacturing industry, welding, auto body, there's auto tech. Carpentry is another big one, working very closely with the Home Builders Association, the Associated General Contractors. I'm in constant contact with members from those groups, and they talk to me about needs they have all the time. And we've done a number of events with them, but again, we have businesses we're working with to get kids out into those fields as well. And some of that too is talking to parents as well as students about how those industries have changed. And I think there's kind of a mindset maybe for some people about, well, if you go into that field, that's a dirty job, or that's a job where you can't make a lot of money.
Sure.
And that's really not true. And those industries, there's such a great need. And you look at the price of building a home today,
right.
and well, there's people making good money off of that process. And
think of all the components that are required. Your electrician, your plumber, your the designer of the home, they're just the drywaller, everybody under the sun. And it's important to make sure we fill all of those gaps.
It is, and just that awareness of what does this job mean, what does this entail, and the more we can expose students to what those career opportunities are, and just gain a better understanding of what it means to be an electrician or to be a carpenter, and experience that and see it, get involved in that. Like I said, maybe we can uncover a hidden passion that they didn't even know they had. And create a great career opportunity for them.
Yeah.
And keep them local in a thriving community that sure needs their help.
Right. I think back to, as I made my decision about my career path, there was so much information that I didn't have, that I made the decision sort of blindly about what I was going to do. And not that I would have chosen something completely different. I think, I appreciate and enjoy what I do. But I don't think I had all the information that maybe I should have had when I made that decision. And so in order to expose kids and give them all of the information, I was probably one of the lucky ones to end up doing, what I went to college for. But there are many that don't have that, or that get through it and go, no, not really what I wanted to spend my rest of my life doing. So this is important work for everybody.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And these career advisor, career coach positions will help students do just that. Right. And be able to reach out on a different level than what's being done prior. So that's going to be a great resource for our students.
What is the expectation of a business then? Because I'm sure if we have any business people watching right now, they're probably thinking, well, do these kids get paid? Do they need somebody, directly with them? Can they work independently? What are you telling businesses?
What we found to be most successful is if a business can assign a mentor type person within their organization, kind of that go-to person for our student. Obviously someone who's open to that and relates well to high school students and is willing to take the time to teach them and explain things as they go. that point of contact, so to speak. As far as pay goes, while our students are out during their school day, pay isn't necessary. They don't have to do that. Now, many of our employer partners are choosing to do that. They feel like that's the right thing to do, I guess. And certainly the students appreciate that. That's kind of a cherry on top, if you will. And then we're finding many students, we try to schedule the internships at the end of their day, and many of the students stay beyond the end of what would have been their school day and work till the end of the work day of that company. And that is paid time, when they're there beyond what would have been their school time. But the employers are finding that these students are talented and they have something to offer their company. And I think the hopes, for us as well as the employers, there will be many situations where these students stay on as employees, and whether that be part-time employees, so they can also go on to some kind of post-high education while they work, or maybe they do become a full-time employee. There are opportunities that have been created where employers have stepped up to pay for, ongoing education with an agreement that they stay on as an employee. So it really is opening many doors, but it's about just committing to help with that learning process for our student, so that we know that they're well taken care of and those needs are being met, and coordinating with the school, in this case the Career and Technical Education Academy, about progress and how things are going, and if we need to intervene on something. And it's just that communication, that regular communication that needs to happen. And kind of at the end of the experience, there's a culminating event where a student will come back and present on their experience to the rest of the classmates who didn't go out on an internship, about what they learned and what their experiences is like or was like, and then where they're going now and what the plan is. And so
in our own department, this past summer, we welcomed an intern from the Academy of Finance, so somebody that is skilled in accounting and accounts receivable, payable, all of these different things. And we were utterly impressed with Alex. He did a fantastic job, and I was shocked at how quickly he would do the work that we would give him, and do it not only in the very way that we presented it to him and asked him to do it, but go beyond and show us a few more things that maybe we didn't ask him to do, but he did on his own, taking the initiative and that type of thing. And I think that, for a student to be in an area that they're super interested in, that's easy for them to do then, is to maybe do a little more than they were wanting or were assigned to do or something. So we really had a great experience with Alex, and certainly it was more of a benefit to us, and I hope to Alex, than it was any work on our part. And so that's really the kind of experience we're looking for kids.
Yeah, and Alex is a great student, and we have so many more Alexes out there, we really do. And it's great that he got so much out of that experience, and that your department was able to benefit from that too. And really that's usually the case when kids go out, and both sides benefit from that. And what an opportunity. And in Alex's case, in the case of many other students, they become empowered and they really feel like they're part of something bigger. And there's that immediate applying of knowledge, and this is why I need to know this. This is how this applies to a potential career or the work world, and it just brings meaning to that whole education.
When I saw that and the benefit for both our department and for Alex, I really wish I would have had that opportunity to explore in that way and get authentic experience, other than just, oh yeah, this seems like something cool to do, without having any knowledge or being on the job site or anything like that. So I just think of, gosh, the opportunities that our kids, mine and yours, are going to have, that every one of the kids in this building will have. It's a pretty exciting time in education.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Absolutely. Well, we're coming up on the end of our time, and there's a ton of things about Josh Hall that I'm sure we did not yet uncover. Any deep secrets that you were wanting to expose here today?
Well, I should talk about my family.
Yes, you
because
should.
that is such an important piece of my life, and married. My wife Heather is a teacher in the Sioux Falls School District, elementary special education teacher at Garfield Elementary. Just loves her job. Again, that passion for working with kids and helping kids is something that we share, and that's fun to be able to talk about that together too.
Yeah.
3 children.
Yes.
Carter is an 8th grader at Patrick Henry. Very involved in activities. We're always on the run with him.
Baseball, if I remember
Yep,
correctly.
baseball.
That's one of his deals.
That is, and basketball as well.
Basketball too,
seem to
that's
be
right.
the-
We've
yep.
seen you at the gym before.
Yeah, those seem to be the 2 that he's really focusing on. Berkeley
Yes.
is our 3rd grade daughter at John Harris Elementary here in Sioux Falls as well. She's headed down the road of being very involved in athletics as well.
Sure.
Talented little girl.
Yeah.
And then we have a 2-year-old, Hadley, who keeps us on our toes. She's at that age, and
Yeah.
she keeps us hopping. But great, I care about them so much, and it's, when I have free time, it's all about what can we do together as a
Right.
family, and that's kind of the center of my life,
Right.
and so.
Kids
That's a little bit.
all the way around.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by them.
Yep, absolutely.
At home,
absolutely.
at work, and obviously many times we see in education that educators are married to other educators because there's just a sense of you get it.
Yep, you share those passions.
Yeah, that's really great. Well, I know your eyes sparkle when you're talking about your own kids, and they sparkle also when you're talking about all the other kids here at CTE. So it's dedicated leaders in the district like Josh who are helping us take education to the next level. So thanks for everything that you do. Thanks for being a good friend to me, and for being a good colleague as well. So thanks for joining us here on Center Stage. We hope you've enjoyed the last half hour or so. If you're interested in learning more about the Career and Technical Education Academy, give Josh a call. I'm sure he'd be happy to tell you more about it, give you a tour. Lots to see and do out here, and certainly if you're a business owner, reach out and connect, and there might be something here for you in terms of future employees. Thanks for joining us.